It's the Exit 52 podcast presented by Jimmy's Seafood. Back here, Banks, RDT, myself, Taylor Smythe, and a special guest starting the show off with us, Ryan Ripken, joining the show. Thanks so much for coming on, man. How we doing?
I'm doing great. Glad to be able to come on with you guys and talk a little bit about, whatever we get into.
First of all, before we get in, we're going to talk Ravens, talk World Series, whatever. Give us the 90-second. You can go longer if you want. Give us the Ryan Ripken rundown. Recently retired, as you said, retired before 30. Great job by you. What sort of you talk through the baseball career and then now what you're trying to get into after?
All right. So we'll try to make it as quick as possible. So played professional baseball with the organizations with the Nationals and the Orioles, and finally made the decision to move aside and move to the next chapter of my life. And I'm interested in sports media, still going back to school because part of the deal was they're paying for it. So might as well take advantage of that. So doing that, working on some sports media, figuring out how to make some good points and a lot more bad points on social media. Still don't know how to use it, but that's really it in a nutshell. It's been a lot of fun. Don't know what I'm doing, but you might see my face pop up from time and time again.
Love that. Let's go into the Ravens. That's the perfect rundown. So let's get you can get some takes off here. It's perfect. Trade deadline over. Roquan Smith in. Banks, your thoughts?
Hard not to love it. I mean, he's been the best linebacker, at least inside linebacker in football for the last 3-4 years. Two-time All-Pro guy, top 10 overall pick. He's just a dog. I know that's a term that gets overused on social media and all that stuff, but he really has that dog in him. He's a guy who's going to go after the football. He's always positioned well. When he was coming out of Georgia, like everybody was raving about the guy, and he delivered in a big way in a uniform that has the same kind of like history and mystique and all that stuff about the linebacking core in Chicago. Same thing in Baltimore. Like he's a guy who's just like born to be a Raven. Obviously the organization has had their eyes on him for a long time, and I thought that they got him at a really affordable price. I know it's up in the air whether they're going to extend it or not, but just to have the rights to kind of have that conversation with him before everybody else, I think is a huge win. Even if it's just a rental for a championship run here, he's the type of player that can just take a defense to another level. Because we know what Patrick Queen can do. I mean, he's explosive, he's fast, he covers a lot of ground. There's things that he's great at. There's things that he's not great at. There's things that he's, been consistent issues since he walked into the league. And Roquan kind of covers those spots in a big way. So I'm excited to see both of them work in tandem because I think that they can take some pressure off of Queen even to just go around and wreak havoc, and Roquan can be that rock in the middle.
Yeah, I think it's a really good pairing in the end, and we've talked about it for weeks. There've been some weak spots in this Ravens defense. Middle linebacker is one that Patrick Queen's played fine. He's been sort of up and down. He's started to come along as the weeks going on, but you look at kind of the other depth there. Josh Bynes is an acceptable veteran, solid and steady guy. But in terms of taking a unit to the next level, you plug Smith in there and you feel like he's going to allow Patrick Queen, as you said, Banks, to kind of do the best things that he does while kind of covering everything else that's going on. And the clip that came out of PQ talking about how many tackles Smith already had on the season was very, very funny, but sort of speaks to the fact that he's exactly who everyone has said he was since he was coming. I remember him at Georgia. He was just incredible at Georgia, just like, the perfect kind of middle linebacker, and, is a guy that steps into, as you said, Banks, goes from a organization with a great history at middle linebacker to another one and just feels like he's going to look right in Ravens purple. Sometimes, guys are good and they come in the organization, they play well, but, they don't ever seem like the perfect fit. He feels like the perfect fit, both in what he does on the field and just the mentality and everything off. So it's really exciting. They gave up a 2nd-round pick, 5th-round pick for him. That's the draft capital, which the Bears then we thought used to trade for Chase Claypool, but they used their own 2nd-round pick, which is a little bit bizarre. Ryan, what were your thoughts on the deal?
I mean, for all the reasons you just said, I mean, you got to love it. You're a Ravens fan. There's no reason not to love this trade. And if I were to tell you anything, if we said, hey, we're going to go get one of the best players, if not arguably, the best at his position right now, who says no? Nobody does, because that instantly makes a big impact on your team. And you're right, dude. We don't know what's going to happen. I know if the Ravens don't re-sign him, they could get some compensation, but it's a unbelievable thought that if Roquan can be a Raven long-term, and you can lock up guys with a young core like Marcus Williams that you just got in the offseason last year, Marlon Humphrey, Kyle Hamilton, and you're going to have this presence that you're moving either some the team that been a great veteran presence, like Justin Houston's had a good run. Campbell's run eventually is going to come to an end here. You want to pass the torch, and this is giving you an opportunity to do that. And for the short term, for this season, the Ravens defense got better. If you want to have a chance to get to the Super Bowl and represent the AFC, you have to be more sound on defense, because Kansas City and Buffalo are going to be coming. And I know Tennessee, it's a different type of offense, but they run the football well. They're going to be tough come January. So I love it. I cannot wait to see him. Even if he's wearing 18, he can wear whatever he wants. I can't wait to see him running up and down the field.
That's where I draw the line. 18, I think he looks awful. I think it looks.
I was ready to jump into some 18 discourse here.
I said on this very podcast, I think 2 weeks ago, 14 on what's his name? Who's to say Hamilton?
Kyle Hamilton.
That stinks. The Ravens lead the league in awful looking jersey numbers. It's terrible. Again, he's a stud. He's a dog. You can't have him running out there at 18. You just can't.
6 and 18 is not exactly the tandem you want to see inside.
No. I mean, imagine who is it? It was Elvis Gerback, right? Wearing 18.
Yes, it was.
I mean,
I think about my childhood. You got 52, 55, 58 on that Super Bowl team. It's like, that's a linebacker right there. So it's weird. It's weird.
Is how you know we're getting older. Back in my day, linebackers used to be men.
Exactly.
Now you got these prima donnas wearing 18. No, I mean, it's seriously. I mean, he's a monster. Again, I think the deal, Ryan, like you said, I think you do that deal every chance you get. It, you got to make that move. And it's not, again, linebacker has kind of been I guess you could say a weak spot a little bit, but I thought the last couple of weeks their defense has played much better than obviously, to start the season. Some people will say, yeah, well, look who they played and blah, 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 their schedule. I don't care. I think they're really rounding into form, and that kind of seemed to, they started to seem to gel more when Peters came back, which again, that's not a shock. If your secondary's, not letting the ball get out, then it's like, yeah, everything else, pass rush improves, linebackers improve, all that stuff. It's a great move. It's a no brainer move. I think if you can do it, you do it. I was still shocked that they didn't make the move at receiver, and that's what everyone has talked about. Because again, the defense can be as good as it wants. I just don't think this offense with the receivers they have now, and who knows about Bateman's. We've seen this before with the Ravens. Oh, Bateman's foot. Oh, it's going to be a week. They rush him back. He plays on that short week. Oh, okay, now he's going to be out a couple weeks, a handful of weeks. So it's like this kind of stuff seems to always linger around the Ravens. I just don't think this is a receiving core that you can go into January and like you may be able to win a playoff game. I think you win, a divisional round game or wild card round, but I don't think they're making a deep run in the playoffs with this receiving core. Obviously, they can run the hell out of the ball. JK will probably be back, for the playoffs. Gus will be fine. Lamar is going to do, what he does, but you're going to have to throw the ball at some point. And I just don't know with this receiving core, unless they go out and they get Odell in a couple weeks, it's November now. I think now is when the clocks kind of starts on like, all right, when is he going to get signed? Maybe they do that and everyone, that'll obviously greatly improve the receiving core, but I was more shocked that they didn't go out and address that need. It wasn't going to be Brandon Cooks with his contract, but I don't know. Someone, Elijah Moore is cheap and, really, really wanted to get out of there. I don't know. Someone like that. I was shocked they didn't make that move. But again, the Roquan move to me, like when I saw it, I was like, yep, that's a move that the Ravens made. They seem to always make, and they can find these guys. And like Banks said, he was born to be a Raven. He plays like one. So it's a hell of a pickup for them.
Yeah, it looks like obviously Smith wanted out of Chicago, wanted about $20 million annually. They were not going to give him that contract. As you sort of talked about it, Ryan, projecting it forward, it'll be interesting to see if the Ravens can sign him long-term and in terms of what they do with their own money. But if you can lock him up, that does create a super interesting young core defensively that they can build on for years to come. And RDT, back to the receiver point, I think that was the second move everyone was waiting for, was were they going to make another move at receiver? I just don't know if they, and maybe Elijah Moore was the guy, and there is like a relationship there with Joe Douglas. Used to work with the Ravens. You thought maybe they kind of worked something out. I don't think the Jets wanted to give up on him that early. Maybe try to work him back in at some point. I just don't know if the Ravens had the money to go out and get anybody that good. I mean, the Bears, part of the reason this trade got made is the Bears are taking care of some of Roquan Smith's salary, so the Ravens don't have to deal with it. And so if maybe they just could not find a deal money-wise, or couldn't make the money work to go and get something, you have to think they called around with, Rashad Bateman's kind of uncertain status. And what we've seen when Bateman's been out is, these other young guys haven't really been able to step up. So I agree. I was waiting for something small, but maybe, maybe it's an Odell, maybe somebody else comes down the pipe here. But yeah, very interesting that they didn't make a move at receiver. Banks, what'd you think about that?
I'm not all that surprised, to be honest. It's the organizational philosophy. It's just they don't value receiver at the same level that a lot of teams do. You look around the league, and there was only one trade made with a receiver. And Chase Claypool, yeah, great rookie year, 11 touchdowns, all that stuff. Hasn't really thrived since. And he went for probably a top 40 pick. I mean, the Bears realistically are going to be pretty early in that second round. And that's what the price was for a receiver that, has kind of been middling for the last couple of years without Big Ben. So, just other teams tend to value wide receivers so highly, and you can look back to last offseason as, where the opportunity was, because if you're not going to go out and, make trades for receivers, and you're not going to go out in free agency and overpay for them, because that's what a free agency is. I mean, it's overpaying for players. If you're not going to do those two things, you have to do it through the draft. And this particular draft, we just didn't really, put an emphasis on it. So we're kind of left out in the dark, like we do seemingly in a lot of drafts here with the Ravens. And they just spend, more than what they think they're worth for that position. So I can't say I'm surprised, and I can't say that it's the wrong thing to do at this given point in time, because of exactly what I said about Chase Claypool. I mean, we had already traded away our second round pick. I mean, what are we going to give up to go and get, another receiver that truly, is going to be helpful, but he's not going to change our offense. I think what changes our offense is getting Rashad Bateman back on the field and healthy, doing what he does best. So, just across sports as a whole, I think fans constantly want to perfect rosters. Rosters are always going to have holes here and there. Like, even, every championship team has some areas where it's like, okay, that's just not where their strong suit is. Wide receiver is not really our strong suit, and that's okay. Like, we can definitely try to go out and get better, and hopefully we do that in the offseason. Hopefully we do, and try to get Odell Beckham here. But we're trying to play to our strengths here, and I think our strengths are getting stronger by the day, it seems like, with guys coming off of not the IL, the IR and everything. And I mean, Tyus Bowser and David Ojabo and all these names are coming back on defense. Like, defense, possession football, run the football, especially the way we ran the second half against Tampa. Like, we've got an opportunity to play a certain style, and going out and having a bevy of wide receivers doesn't really lean into that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see if they fully buy into that style. And maybe they saw something second half, against Tampa Bay, where it's like, all right, this is just the team we're going to be now. We're going to really try to run the football. We're going to play really, really good defense. As you make a trade, you get the guys off from injury. As you said, Banks, maybe that's the road they go down. Ryan, did you expect a new receiver in purple during the trade deadline?
Nope, I did not. And honestly, maybe I'm I don't feel that it's a necessity. And I think for what it's going to be, and like, I get it. Like, you see what the Eagles have done with Jalen Hurts, and you get AJ Brown, you draft Devontae Smith. That's great. I feel like if you want to make that type of an impact, it's in the offseason, because you give them time to work together and to really kind of build and shape that offense. It's a lot harder because the Ravens style and system is not the same as other teams. The Ravens are built off of where the passing offense is the focal point is Mark Andrews. So yes, you want to try to get Bateman involved, but it's a run heavier Mark Andrews, find him and let Lamar make plays. I think what we saw is that you got to stay to your strengths, and the Ravens are starting to run the football. That second half against the Bucs was a great indication of that. And you factor that in, you're seeing Isaiah Likely step right in, and as a rookie against a pretty tough linebacking core with the Bucs, play extremely well, which everyone thought he was going to do early in the season. So there are pieces you can. I think if the Ravens now, we're finding that you got to find ways to get your playmakers for the Ravens now are getting Duvernay the ball, whether that's in sweeps or short passes or maybe sending them deep, getting Likely involved. Gus Edwards getting X amount of carries when he's healthy, Bateman when he's healthy. So all that factors in. And just to put this in perspective of why I was so happy with the Roquan, just to tie it in, if you take out the Dolphins game, and I don't have to check the average, how many points the team's giving up overall now, but take out the Dolphins fourth quarter, the Ravens defense was giving up 18 points a game. They allowed, if we're going to say Buffalo Bills are the favorites to come out of the AFC, you held a Buffalo Bill team to 20 points until that final drive. You go for it and you don't get it. They go down, kick a field goal and win 23-20. So I think the formula is there for the Ravens, but if you're going to do that, you have to execute and take care of the football. So that's where I think that they're at. I'm excited. And now that this is the pieces that are going to be left, make sure you maximize the guys that you want to have the football in their hands.
RDT, does this Ravens team scare you more as a Titans fan?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, anytime Lamar is on the field, I think it scares. I think it absolutely scares you. The defense again has gotten much scarier. I mean, they don't scare me. They don't scare me as much as the Chiefs, the Bills, the Dolphins do. I don't think that's a hot take or anything. I think that's kind of the consensus. I think it's those three teams in the AFC. And then I think the Titans and the Ravens, I think, are in that same stratosphere kind of. Where again, like, I don't think it's going to surprise anyone if they can make a run in the playoffs. I don't think the Titans will. But again, like, I don't think it would shock any of us if the Ravens did end up making an AFC championship game. I think now with Roquan, that may be, it may kind of be, hey, AFC championship game or bust right now. Again, some fans may even say Super Bowl or bust. They still scare me. Obviously, the receiving, I mean, Duvernay, like we called him last week, he's a discount Debo. It seems like he's just going to get better as the year goes on, because they're going to learn, like we saw in last week, that play call with the sweep, like, oh, hey, we can do this and it's going to work, and like Ryan said, Likely's kind of he found his way last game with Andrews out. And I mean, that's another big thing too, that I guess we haven't really talked about. And I haven't seen any update this week, but Andrews, I mean, I think you sit him down for at least a couple of weeks, I would assume. I didn't see anything today. Was it a shoulder? Was it did they come out with any timetable or time frame or anything?
I don't think that they did.
I know they have the extra day because of the Monday night game.
Can I play Twitter Doctor for a sec?
Yeah, go for it.
Of course.
AC joint sprain. I did it
weeks?
myself. We won't talk about how.
Tell us how you did it.
Sophomore year of college.
I want the story. I want the story. No, I want the story. I want the story.
No, I just drove my shoulder into the sidewalk in College Park the night before start. Woke up the next morning, think I was going to throw. I couldn't even lift my arm. AC joint sprain had me out for 3 to 4 weeks. For a guy like him, I know I'm built different, but so is Mark Andrews. So, I don't know. I think it makes a lot of sense to sit him out for this Monday Night Football game. Then you get the bye, and you kind of see where you're at. So I don't think it's anything severe, and I think if it was, we would know by now.
Yeah, this is famous last words. You would think that the Ravens would be able to beat the Saints without Mark Andrews.
Well, yeah.
You would think.
And again,
I mean, we can get into the Saints game here. Monday Night Football, Ravens Saints. Ravens in New Orleans, which is fun. I'm sure there'll be a lot of Ravens fans that go down, make the trip to go down there. This Saints team is all over the place. Coming off a 24-0 win over Las Vegas. They've lost to Arizona. They've lost to Cincinnati. They've lost to the Vikings. They've lost to Carolina. They lost to that Bucs team that stinks that we just watched last week. The Ravens are playing Andy Dalton again, which is just seemingly impossible, but is happening. It's just stunning. I can't believe we're playing this guy again. But barring something stupid, this should be a pretty routine win. If you look at this Saints team and you look at how the Ravens are projecting after last week's second half, so we shall see. But RDT, do you see this as being a hard matchup at all for the home squad?
Did the Ravens play Dalton when he was on the Cowboys? Is that 2 years ago?
I believe so. I was actually just looking that up.
I'm trying to think. Was he on that 2 years ago? Because where was Dalton last year? The Bears?
I'm pretty sure he was
He was in the
there.
Bears last year, Cowboys 2 years ago. And I think Dalton started that game? Maybe? I don't know. Yeah, that guy's a cockroach. He was born to play against the Ravens.
Yeah,
What was
Andy
your
Dalton.
yeah?
Cowboys.
Taylor, can you please repeat the question? Do I think the home team is
Do you think that this is a tough game for the Ravens at all?
for the Ravens?
Was simply the question. Yeah.
No, I don't think it's a tough game for the Ravens. I think I talked about it before the Bucs game, saying the interesting part is going to be seeing the linebacking core against a wide receiver or a running back that the quarterback really likes to kind of dump off and just get the ball in his hands any way they can. And Fournette, they did a really good job with Fournette, but Kamara is just a monster. He's a completely different animal back there. So again, that's the thing. If you can stop their wide receivers, don't scare anyone. If you can stop Kamara, I think you're gonna beat him. And we've seen Kamara completely win games. I mean, he basically did it. Did they win last week? I don't know. He killed me in fantasy. So yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah, they won 24-0. Yeah.
Yeah, he killed me in fantasy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we know what he can do out of the backfield. I think if Queen has played really well, if they can stop him, and it's going to be fun to see Roquan out there. I'm guessing he's going to play. I would assume so. He has that extra day, like I said, but I don't think it's going to be a difficult task at all. This Saints team, I don't think they really scare anyone. The hardest part is probably going to be going on the road, but like you said, there's got to be this is the first time the Ravens have played there since the Super Bowl, or no?
No, they played there in 2014. I think Justin Forsett went off.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. I remember my buddy won like 10 grand on DraftKings that night. I remember that. So no,
That's pretty early DraftKings 2014.
Yeah. Oh no, this is
That was almost like peak DraftKings.
Yeah, that was like I was
DraftKings.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like full-fledged gambling company DraftKings.
No.
Right.
Not at all.
Right.
No, but no, I don't think it's going to be a difficult task for the Ravens. I think they win this one pretty easily. That's just my thought and feeling on it.
Ryan, what type of progression do you want to see from the Ravens week to week in this game? First of all, this feels like they've been on a bye week because going Thursday to Monday is wild. What do you hope to see from them kind of building off last week?
Well, it's going to be even crazier after this game the Ravens play then they have the bye week. So it's going to feel even longer. But, I love the progression of where the team's at. I am a little bit more worried about this game than maybe some would lead on. Not for the sense that I don't think that the Ravens are a better team. I think that they are. I think, honestly, if we look to every single game, the Ravens have not been outplayed when they've been outplayed, unfortunately, it's been the fourth quarter, but they've looked like the better team for the majority of the games that they've played in. The only thing is going to New Orleans is going to be no easy task with the team that I actually think Andy Dalton's a better fit for that offense right now. If you're not going to have your weapons in and you're going to ask someone to take care of the football and then just say, hey, Kamara, I'm going to throw it to you 15 times, go make a play. That's a pretty good strategy for the Saints. And then they're going to trust their defense to try to shut things down. The progression overall, though, I think the Ravens got to continue to build off their run game, continue to do what they did last week. And the more and more Roquan Smith's going to get comfortable on defense, I think that's going to really solidify the middle. I think another interesting thing defensively that hasn't really been talked about, like Kyle Hamilton had his best game of the year last week covering, and people were roasting him. And it's like people sometimes forget he's a rookie. I look back when Marlon Humphrey was drafted by the Ravens, he was not asked to be the Ravens' first corner or even second corner. He was coming in and being like the third or fourth option. So to expect a guy to be this hybrid role, and now you lose a Pro Bowl like talent in Marcus Williams, and now you're asking Kyle to take on more. It's going to be a growing pain. But so I'm really excited to see what he does. And I think it's not just Kyle, but we talked about it likely already, the progression of the rookies. Like you're seeing this come together where guys are getting experience. Same thing with Linderbaum. Same thing up front at center. They're getting more comfortable. Like that is what I want to see progression wise, because if your young players are starting to get it, then everything's going to really start to gel, because the veterans, they've been there and they've done that. So I'm really excited, but it's not going to be an easy one marching down in New Orleans.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point in terms of Hamilton, a guy that, as you said, like took his licks on the field, but also, you're under such a microscope as a first round pick, and every single thing that he did was, analyzed. And maybe it was also a situation where they were just trying to figure out what role they wanted him to use him in, because they didn't really have a natural spot for him. With Marcus Williams there, you have Chuck Clark, you have all these guys that are a little more established, and now maybe with some of those guys going down and being in and out, it's given him the ability to kind of work himself into a little bit more of a role that he feels comfortable in. And obviously the Linderbaum clip went a little viral of him last week as well. So that is huge. And combined with Likely's performance, it was like look at how now everyone was kind of hating on the Ravens draft class for 3 weeks, and now look at them emerging. So that's going to be really huge as they get down the stretch. Banks, what are your thoughts on this matchup in New Orleans?
I'm probably a little more on Ryan's side on this. Like, hey, road game, different time zone, Monday Night Football. New Orleans is a tough place to play, and I think Lamar has had some ups and downs with these primetime games. I mean, last year's Thursday Night Football, I think we've flushed the memory of that one, but that was maybe the worst game he's played. And, he had 4 interceptions against the Browns in the game on Sunday Night Football last year. He hasn't played his best on primetime. And it kind of goes in line with the entire notion that 2019 versus, what's followed, he hasn't been elite, which is why that's half is so encouraging in Tampa. But just road games, primetime games, you don't want to count your chickens too much. Vegas has it as just a 2.5 point favorite situation here for us Ravens. We've just played so many tight games the last 2-3 years where I just we've come and made so many predictions on this podcast where I'm throwing out 2-score wins and all these types of things, and it comes down to a field goal all the time. So I'm thinking it's a field goal game here, and you take away the wind and the outdoor elements, you're going to take Justin Tucker over anybody. So I'm going to go with the Ravens with the big. I think Justin Tucker's going to hit another game winner.
You going to give a score, and then we'll go.
I was going to say we'll go into predictions right now. Give us a score.
27-24.
RDT.
That was yours, huh?
31-23 Ravens.
Ryan.
27-17 Ravens.
I went close. I think I got close last week to the score. I think this is a blowout. I think the Ravens win 38-14. I think this is a blowout. I'm going the other way from you, Banks. I think this is going to be an easy game. I shouldn't think that. That probably won't happen. I'm going easy game.
I just can't. I can't see Andy Dalton. I know we've said this tons of times this year.
And then it's Dalton. And then here comes Andy Dalton.
I don't see Tua marching down the field.
I do like Chris Olave. I also do like Chris Olave.
Oh yeah.
Guy's a stud.
Yeah, Olave is really good. He seems to get a concussion every week though. So he's always banged up and rolling around on the sidelines or something like that. So I don't know. Olave is good.
I think also just the thing to touch on, just everyone knew that the Bengals having Jamar Chase out this past Monday, that it was going to affect them. Did we think it was going to affect where they were to go get thumped by the Browns in Cleveland? I didn't think it was going to be that bad. So it just goes to show you, you got to go and earn every win. And the Saints are actually playing for their division still. So they might be 3-5, but they are right in the thick of the NFC South race. And they're going to be loud and out for a big win at home.
Yeah, that's very true. You could win that division with 8 wins.
We're going to see the Falcons on Christmas Eve, and they're going to be fighting for their lives. Who would have thought that?
Yeah. I mean the Panthers in 2 weeks. Who knows? I mean, they're not out of there. I mean, they're not out of there.
They would have been in first place had their kicker the penalty on Moore, the kicker missed the extra point, and then him shanking a 33-yarder. We would be saying the Carolina Panthers, the dumpster fire that just traded away Christian McCaffrey, would now be the leaders in the NFC South. Wild.
And they've got winnable. I mean, they play at the Bengals, who really struggled, as you said, and then they're home for the Falcons, and then they get the Ravens, then they get the Broncos. I mean, they have winnable games ahead of them. Here come the Panthers.
There are a lot of good bad teams or bad good teams in the NFL right now.
We talked about this, I think, a little bit one of the last couple of weeks. There are not a lot of teams that you watch where you're like, oh man, they really got it together. There's really not.
I think it's 14.
Like everyone in New York was freaking out about the Jets and the Giants, and I mean, we saw who those teams really probably are this week. Like Zach Wilson, ooh,
that guy
boy.
Stinks.
Oh boy,
how could they make Flacco inactive when he played pretty damn solid to start the year?
Those quotes by him were something too. A little fiery Joe.
I missed that actually.
Oh, they talked about, they asked him if he was surprised he was benched and inactive. And I think he said something along the lines of like, yeah, but it's not my job to understand stuff like that. Like, it's kind of just
that's like a very Joe Flacco comment.
Yeah, but it's kind of like
very Joe Flacco comment.
Little backhanded, slap. But
I think you're just reading it that way.
No, I mean, I
hope it was though. I hope it was.
Yeah, I'll find the exact
quote. He's right.
Let me see. I mean, I'm with you. I think Mike White stinks even more. Let me see this Joe Flacco quote real quick. Come on. I'm ultimately disappointed. There's some kind of reason for it, but I'm not sure it's my job to understand it.
Ooh.
Says he was surprised by being promoted to third string. At the same time, I got to keep it about the team and try not to be a selfish guy.
Not to be a selfish guy.
He's, pretty selfless when you talk about guys in that locker room.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, the Seahawks, who everyone wrote off before the year, 5-3. Like, I don't know if they're good. 5-3.
Well, again,
Vikings everyone thinks Kirk Cousins is the worst. They're 6-1. The Vikings.
We had Giants are 6-2.
I think the Giants stink, but they beat both of our teams, so we can't.
The Commanders are 4-4. I think they stink.
Commanders won their Super Bowl today. That's their season. It doesn't matter how that ends. Their season is a success now.
So you guys think that's a full sale, or do you think that's
no.
gaining investment? Yeah, he's not.
He's going to sell 49%. And he's going to be like, "Look, guys, I sold," and he's still going to be He's
just sell it to his nephew or something.
Yeah, he's gonna do something like that.
If they
just a lot of fun talk in DC sports right now. You got the Nationals massing things back. You got Commanders. Just so fun.
There may be more people in the streets if that sale goes through than there were for the Nationals parade 3 years ago.
I was gonna say I'm anxious to see the footage next to each other of the Caps parade and the day that Snyder eventually sells, and be like, which one was which. You're only going to be able to tell because the shade of.
There were a lot of people there we were at the Caps parade, Banks.
A lot of people.
I was there.
There's a lot of people.
You think there's not going to be that many for the Commanders fire sale?
Where will they do the parade in DC, or will they drive to FedEx and just parade around the stadium?
JP Finley had mapped out a route and he put it on his Instagram. It was like, we're marching to RFK, and then he was like, we're just throwing a rager in the parking lot. That would be fun if you're a Commander. That would be a good time. That would be
electric.
I'm very happy that I'm not involved in that, because God, it sucks everything about it. But that would be a fun time. Marching down Fifth Avenue or Constitution Avenue or whatever. I don't know the streets in DC.
Sounds bad.
Those are
Constitution sounds good.
Yeah.
Say that.
They should just go right to the National Mall.
Do a little Forrest Gump.
Yeah, just everyone just jumps into the reflecting
pool.
Yeah.
Why not? Shit.
That would be fascinating. I mean, that team is going to be NFL teams, he should sell, because NFL teams are also just maybe never going to get this valuable. I mean, they are at a peak value right now. Just sell it.
Broncos went for what? 4.5 bill. Commanders are going to get easily they're a top 5 value franchise. If
They don't have like they've got so much they gotta clean up though.
Yeah.
Yeah. The stadium situation's really bad. Really, really bad.
It's a
Because
really
if you're going to buy
ideal.
the team, if you're buying the team, you have to build a new stadium. So that's a
but
huge
that's
part.
the idea is that anybody who buys the team, like all the conversations open back up.
Yeah.
In theory.
Well, I also thought that
did we talk about the Larry Hogan quote from a couple weeks ago on here about how they asked him like, oh, like, what are your thoughts on, I'll find this as
I know which ones you're talking about.
My thought though with the Snyder thing was maybe he sells a minority stake in it and then he uses that money to build the stadium. If he sells 49%, 45% or whatever, that's the money that he'll put up. But he still has to find a place to do it.
It's like a cash out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And I was looking at the betting odds to see the next owner in 2023. And it was still Snyder. Snyder was still number 1, Bezos 2. The Lerners were in there. Could you imagine if the Lerners sell the Nats just to turn around and buy the Commanders? He just doesn't know how to deal with Masson.
That would be. Hogan essentially said he wouldn't have. He didn't want to get into a bidding war for the team, and like if they want to stay there, fine. But if not, whatever. And then someone followed it up, and he just went, "I'm a Ravens fan." He was just like, "I don't care about this team," which is amazing. Like every place in the country, an NFL team is an absolute cash cow for your local economy and all these different things. And nobody wants this team. Virginia doesn't want it. DC doesn't want it. Maryland doesn't want it.
I wonder why.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, that will be very fascinating. And as you said, the Nationals still have to get sold, and we don't know where that's going.
Could be Leonsis. Could be Uncle Ted.
It could be.
Uncle Ted dipping
keeping
it
down there.
He's dipping
keep it in the family.
In the water.
Me and Banks were at the at Capital One Arena last night. Not a gigantic crowd for the Caps, unfortunately.
No. Not a lot of juice in there.
Yeah.
It's a rough Caps.
There was a lady a section over who put a curse on somebody's house. So, yeah, I don't know if you heard that one, Taylor. Yeah,
I was not listening. Were you, to your left? Was it to your left?
To my left, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't hear all the way.
One of the Knights took out a Caps player or something and says, "I put a curse on your house." It's like, oh my god.
Maybe a new go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
something else.
the alliances could get another team. Another team just have all 3. Just get all 4 of them. Do the full 4. Ted, get them all.
Do it.
We'll move towards the sport that the Nationals play in baseball. RDT, what are your thoughts on the World Series?
It's been fun. We've had some great games. I mean, last night was a blowout, Game 3, but that was about as fun as it. I had a ton of fun watching, even though I'm rooting for the Astros. I obviously pulling for Trey. What do you mean? Don't shake your head. What do you mean? Are we not?
I just can't. We're very pro Trey. We're very pro Trey. I can't do the cheating. I can't root for them.
They have like 5 guys who are on that team.
Can't do it. Sorry.
You're
love Trey. By the way, felt bad for Trey last week. That it was tough.
I think I've had conversation. I had talked with you. I think Ryan and I we've talked about it. It's a rough go right now. And it stinks because he doesn't get the consistent at bats.
We texted about it. In Game 1, there were 2 balls that they threw way off the outside corner that he just like reached for, and I was like, oh no. No.
Sliders away. It's like they were just testing it. We're gonna throw one, or he swung at that one, let's throw it a little bit further, he swung at that, and then you're thinking, where they're going, please don't swing it at Trey, please don't. And you can tell it. He's tense, he's stressing. It's tough. And honestly, that I've just been waiting for him to, I was hoping that was gonna be the moment. He got pinch in, obviously. But I was waiting for it was going to be the redemption moment for him. He was going to hit the walk-off. And instead we had oh no, fake hit by pitch, 3-0, daddy hack that missed, and then a rollover, game over, and Phillies win. But it's tough. I do hope for Trey, though. So wait, the question then on this, because it's the cheating thing with the Astros. Will anyone ever get over it for the Astros? When will be a point where you're like,
thank you?
No, it's not.
I was saying this in 2019,
and I'm not even saying that for the Astros, that I'm an Astros homer, because I'm not, but also I want to point out that the Astros weren't the only team that's done something scandalous in the last 5 years. So I guess that's my question. When does this period end for the Astros? 17,
I think for me, it's just fun to have a heel team to root against. And so they are just an established heel for me now. Like, it's just like, oh, it's the Astros. And it stinks because Trey obviously came on the show. RDT, you talk so fondly of him. Seems like a great guy. Every time he was up, I wanted him to hit a home run. Every single time he's been up in the postseason. But it's just fun to root against him for me. And eventually it'll probably, the passion for it will just wear as we go through the years. But it's still close enough to where I'm just like, and the Phillies are a nice story. They're fun. They're just they're fun. They have Bryce, which people are kind of up and down on Bryce, but I think in general for people, I think it'll wear off in the next 2 to 3 years. I think once when Altuve is gone, I think for the most part that will kind of take it away from people a little bit.
Well, again,
maybe Bregman too.
I think it got extended because of the COVID season, where again, leading up to that 2020 season, it was bet the over on hit by pitches by the Astros because every pitch lace them, it's gonna earhole them. And then obviously we didn't get that. So like when they were like, they're gonna go to Philly and Philly's really gonna give it to them. It's like, why does Philly care? How many games did Philly win in 2017? Like they weren't affected by it. But I get why people are booing them. And like I tweeted last night, like the Philly fans, like y'all know that there was like five guys are still in the team. Again, it's like Bregman, Altuve, I think Gurriel, Verlander, who again had nothing to do with it, I would assume. Maybe another hitter, but it's like I'm again. Banks has been banging this trash can. Well, he's been riding this train for 4 years now, being like, get over it. It's not a big deal. I don't know. Again, I think the fun team to hate is the Yankees. I think the fun team to hate is the Red Sox. Like those are the fun teams I like to hate. I mean, I don't. And like Ryan said, they weren't the only team cheating. I guarantee. Like we know that for a fact that was true. Like their teams right now probably cheating. So that's why, like I'll tweet stuff about the Astros and people are like they're cheaters, and I'm like, you cheered for Brian Roberts and you cheered for Albert Bell and
well, I mean, it's all relative in baseball at a certain point. It's all relative.
Yeah. And I guess I know steroids and the whole scandal are completely different, but to me, I'm just like I don't care. I literally could not care less about it. I just I'm rooting for the Astros because again, I want to see Dusty Baker win a World Series. But then watching some of these games, now I realize why why it's avoided him all these years. Some of the decisions, I've seen my fair share of bad pitching performances and leaving a guy in like that with McCullers and letting him go 5 innings last night, I think. That was bizarre. But yeah, again, it's been a fun series. The first game was awesome. I fell asleep with Castellanos' catch in the 9th, so I didn't see the Real Muto home run. Game 2 was great too, and then game 3 again was just an absolute slugfest. So it's been fun. I think it goes 7. It's 0-0 right now with bottom 4 in game 4. But yeah, I think the way this is going, I think we're going 7. And like you said, there's still a lot of baseball left. Trey may get a couple more big at bats, and we just cross our fingers and hope he hits one. And Taylor will be wearing an Astros hat when all said and done.
Let me tell you what, I will get out of my chair if he hits one out. Absolutely. I will lose my mind. That would be awesome.
That would be
an awesome moment. And it'd be like short-term personal redemption for the struggles he's had too. And much less all the other stuff.
I don't know if you guys heard the quotes that Dusty had, I think after game 2. I don't know, Ryan, did you see those? Or
think about Dusty's gloves, RDT.
Guys just smoking a pork shoulder in the locker room. That's what they are. No, but he said something and they asked him about Mancini and he said, he said something and was like, listen, I've shown as much confidence in the guy as I can. Like I can talk to a guy so much in the locker room, in the clubhouse, but when you get in the box, it's just you up there and everything that I say goes out the window. And he's like, I can't help you there. And so it's kind of like, ooh, like, and he said, like, I hope he swings. He said, I told him that there are some pitches that he should be swinging at that he hasn't. And again, like there was a fastball, I think letters high one night. Yeah, I think it was that, I guess it was that game 1. And it's like, ooh, that's one that I think you turn on, Trey. But there was some of the comments from Dusty were like, ugh, that may.
Well, yeah. And I don't love that.
Here's the weird spot, like World Series, like.
Well, and also too, like, here's the thing. when you're not feeling good at the plate and you don't have confidence, you are going to take pitches. I don't know if this is PG, so I'll keep it PG. You're going to take it some that are like right there, and you're going to sit there and go like, you're going to roll your eyes back and be like, that was it. Like, man, that was the pitch. Why didn't I pull the trigger? Why am I not swinging the bat? And then why am I swinging at a pitch that's in the other batter's box? And you're walking back, you want to go back, break the bat over your head or your leg or whatever you want to do. And then you just feel completely disheveled. So that's unfortunately like where Trey's at right now. He's at a little bit of a loss. I don't like hearing that your manager, even if it's going worse, don't say that I've had a conversation. Just be, we still believe in him. He'll get out of it eventually. Do the politically correct response. Yep, we believe in him. He's going to do it. Because once you start doing that, like that, as a player, that's got to tick you off. But it's all right. Trey's going to hit a game winner in like game 6.
There we go. He said, yeah, here's, I'm not going to play the whole quote, but he said, I've tried to show as much confidence as him as I can. And again, it's kind of just like, ooh, and again, Dusty's, he's as veteran as it gets. Like, you would think that he would kind of know how to tiptoe around the question, like you said, and give that PC answer. So yeah, again, I know we're all rooting for him. So we hope, I hope we see 7. The crowds in Philly have been great. And I'll admit it, the dancing on my own, it's a fantastic song. So good. It's a very good song. So, but it's fun. It's been fun to watch Bryce Schwarber, who I know, Banks, you and I were both, we were pretty gung-ho. And what did we say? What was that, 2020 season?
I've been gung-ho on him every season since he's entered my, sphere of existence.
Yeah. He's just a baseball player. He's awesome. He's the man.
The Big Ten's finest.
Indiana, the powerhouse that is Indiana baseball.
Big Ten Network put out like a last 6 Big Ten players to homer in the World Series, and it's Schwarber. Can you name the last one?
What's his name?
Is it Tampa Bay?
It's Brandon Lau.
Yeah, Terps.
It's Brandon Lau. And then it's like, and then it goes, then the next 4 guys go back, like it gets you accumulated back like 20 years. Like the last guy on the list is like in 1986. Not a lot of Big Ten guys home.
Probably like Teixeira, right? Teixeira?
Not a Big Ten guy.
Oh, I'm thinking AC. I don't know why I was thinking ACC.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah, he went to Georgia Tech. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Georgia Tech. Maybe Georgia Tech will end up in the Big Ten at some point. I don't think that's like totally out of the question. But
I think I was just thinking, Maryland. Maryland is in the ACC because I still live in the past.
Yeah. 3 home runs. 3 home runs in the World Series in the COVID World Series for Brandon Lau. 3.
They won that World Series, right, Kevin Cash?
Ooh, tough. Bit of a tough scene. Ryan, before we go to our starting 5 draft and get you out of here, I have to get your thoughts on your old organization, very recently old organization, and the success they had this year. What was it like for you watching that? I know you played with a lot of these younger guys, so you have some perspective on that, but also just as someone that's, grew up around this area and knows how good of a baseball town it can be, just sort of watching the team kind of get back into the forefront of everything.
I think it was really exciting for a fan base that you felt like you hit a low when that final year with Buck Showalter and the team just was really bad. Like that started like the beginning of the end. And, really Orioles fans have had, growing up, I was trying to think, I don't remember the late 90s when the Orioles and the Jeffrey Mayer, I know the legend and I've seen the videos, but, I don't really remember that. So then the next time that you remember a meaningful moment is in the early 2010s. And that was that 5-year window that the Orioles had was exciting. And then a lot of fans are going, here we go again, but we might be even worse. And so to see the rebuild come back quicker than expected, because I've seen the guys, there's a lot of talented players, and you saw that this year. It's exciting. Like, and you see that the town, they love their football here, but they are very passionate about baseball. The Orioles have a bright future, but it's not going to be an easy road. So as exciting as it is for the team, the Red Sox are going to get it better. The Blue Jays are going to be right there, and the Rays. But now the Orioles are back to saying, hey, we are contenders again to make noise. If you had said that the Orioles were going to be in the playoff hunt up until the last week of the season, everyone thought you were crazy, or they would have taken that in a heartbeat. So I'm excited, and I've said this on record. Adley's great. I'm the biggest Gunnar Henderson believer. He could win an MVP in the next 4 to 5 years. He's going to win the Rookie of the Year, and the Orioles they're gonna be just fine. But I'm excited. I'm excited for more so for the fans, because losing 100 games and for consecutive years was the worst.
I feel like we've had sorry, RDT. I feel like we've had a million people on here talk about Adley, so I'm actually interested to hear why you think Gunnar Henderson is that special.
I was gonna say, Ryan, I know we've had conversations off the record about it, and I was gonna say, if you want to spit it, go. If you don't want to say
it, sure, I'll talk about it. The thing with Adley, and I said this before, Adley's #1 overall pick. Everyone knows what Adley's done, and Adley is very, very good. This is no knock to Adley at all. I just think Gunnar has more upside offensively than him. And what makes Adley so good is he's good at like six. He's usually is maybe really good at 1 or 2 things, and Adley's good at 6 or 7 of them. Like, he's good defensively. He blocks, he frames, he calls a good game, controls the run game, then offensively good, like all those things, right? Then you look at Gunnar and you're like, what the hell is that? Like, who is this? Because I had 2 wow moments that we've talked about, Eric and I've talked about. I had it with Juan Soto with the Nationals before he broke, and the other one was Gunnar. Those are the only 2 players where I went, this isn't normal. This is not what you see every day. And for Gunnar, how quickly he's learning, and I love that he got called up this year, because that's only going to help him for next year. He's learning on the fly so quickly. He can run, he can hit, and the fact that he has a great eye and he has power to all parts of the park is going to help his game, especially in a game where people try to like maximize your strengths. His strength is he can do anything anywhere. But his biggest strength is how quickly he's learning. And if you're an Orioles fan, that's the guy. I really think Adley's going to be the face, but Gunnar really could be the one that really shatters some records. And again, that's just me, and I hope I'm right. And if I'm wrong, I'll back it up. But I really like the makeup, and he's a really good guy. Like, you can't ask for more if you're a fan of the Orioles and a fan of Gunnar.
He's a better basketball player. I know you said he's a pretty good basketball player.
He's a freak athlete.
He doesn't seem like a basketball guy either.
He seems like a freak athlete, though. You watch like athletically, and I'm not someone that played baseball at a high level at all, so I can't speak to like actually doing it myself. But you watch how he does things physically, and he looks like a freak. Like, he just like the ball he hit in Boston. I think you tweeted that home run like last week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that ball is just hit. I mean, that it's just not a home run you see a lot in that place. And as you said, Ryan, he wasn't in the bigs for long, so we didn't get to watch it for that long. But it was power to everywhere, like power to every single place. Like, he didn't have to rely on doing anything, like having to pull it everything. He just did whatever he wanted, and that was pretty crazy to see for a 21-year-old who lost a season due to COVID and all these other things that he has dealt with.
Yeah, I still remember there's a spring training, so I never got to play with him in a season. But we're in 2020 for the COVID year. We're playing on one of the backfields at Ed Smith, and he's up to bat. I don't know if he fell behind the count or whatever it was. He hits a fastball away, and there's like the giant nets, and it's used to a ball just going over. But I remember he hit it to left, and it was immediately gone. And it just kept going. And no one really made a reaction. It was just like, and I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, you just hit the ball to the moon, to left. And it's a spring training game, and you're on the backfield, the ball's going to fly there anyway. But I said, this doesn't add up. We've just started playing baseball again. And that ball might have just landed in someone's house, like in their second or third floor, 800 feet away. So it's cool. I just think the Orioles nucleus that they have is a young group. Other guys that have been with, they have the makeup to be really good. And I think a lot of fans are excited to see, where they're going to move, as it moves into 2023.
Are you excited about the DeGrom rumors, Eric?
Not gonna happen. Nice.
No,
Hey,
come on. You were
I-
buying into ridiculous rumors. You were in the Correa sweepstakes last summer.
Oh no, I mean I didn't think that was gonna happen either. But it is funny with the DeGrom stuff because like obviously I tweeted it out. I was like, oh yeah, like count me in or something. And I had people being like, pass. Don't want that guy. I'm not gonna spend that money for 100. And it's like, you're not gonna pass on like if DeGrom is like, hey guys, Baltimore, like Mr. Elias, let's meet up. You know, you're gonna have Orioles fans being like, no, hard no for me on Jacob DeGrom. Like, shut up, people. But no, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think the guy who tweeted that out is the what was the guy who started the Raul Ramos or whatever. That guy was in my DMs. He started the Correa rumor last year, and he was in my DMs every day, being like, "It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen." I'm like, "All right, why are you DMing me? Like, why are you talking to me about it? I don't care. Like, sure, buddy." And so I don't know. It's not gonna happen.
Is there any player that you guys want to see the Orioles get? Like if you had a dream, like it fits, you want it, realistic, unrealistic?
I think I said last week Carlos Rodon would be fantastic. Again, I don't think the money is going to be right, or I don't think they're going to spend that much, but I think a guy like Rodon, and then I think a guy like Trey Turner would be awesome. I know they kind of have a guy like Turner with, well, a much worse hitter, but Jorge Mateo, you know, awesome fielder, great speed. Turner is way more pop too, but I would love Turner, Turner, Rodon, any of those two.
Turner was mine. I think when we talked about it, I think he would just be very fun offensively to play with the rest of these guys. And I just think he's a very fun player to watch. But I mean, I'll take Jacob DeGrom. I mean, that wouldn't suck. Throw him on opening day. You were like, oh, I think like you could start Grayson on opening day. Like, I mean, maybe Jacob DeGrom though. I mean, maybe that.
If you want to slide Grayson back to the, you know, that game too, I'm fine with that too.
You don't want Judge, RDT?
He could be a nice fourth outfielder, I guess. He can, until he can prove he's hitting the ball over the wall. I don't need him.
Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something if he came to Baltimore?
I mean, that would be
ended up with just something like all this, then go to New York and then just torch New York. That would be.
I would print shirts that say like Aaron Judge, your official home run champion, like your real home run champion, Aaron Judge. Like I would be slandering every steroid guy I could. That would be fantastic. That would be crazy. Him going back to New York in a Baltimore uniform.
Is there a guy that you look at free agency wise, Ryan, and would put on this team?
So I do like Rodon a lot. I think that like makes the most sense. If you go after a guy like Turner, I'll tell you who I don't want. I do not want the Orioles to go after Correa. I do not want that. Do not go spend the money on it. I think what you figured out, and looking at what Pena's doing for the Astros and what happened with Mateo this year, you're going to find value at that position. Don't go and spend that money. Now, Trey Turner is a different, I will say this, if you go and get Trey Turner, who I think would be the guy of the infielders, so I'd have to agree, like with the pick so far, you're gonna block guys in the minors. If you want to give some of those guys a chance, you can't go and get a guy like that because let's just face it, you know, Gunnar, your hope's going to be there for 15 to 20 years. You still have Urias, which congrats to him.
Yeah, that's awesome. And he won the Gold Glove. That's unexpected, I think.
Yeah. So like you have these pieces and it's not long-term, but you got to really think about what you want to do. Pitch, honestly, anything Orioles pitching, I would be happy with. I know everyone wants a bat, but we just saw the Orioles just made a huge jump in games. Their offense was about the same, but their ERA was two runs down. Give me the arms. You saw the arms tire out towards the end. You can never have enough good pitching. So go get DeGrom too if you want.
Just go get DeGrom and Rodon. Just get them both.
Rodon and Turner, both NC State guys, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Played on the same team. Yeah.
Did they really? I didn't know they were on the same team. I figured they
Maryland took a series against them, 2 out of 3 at home when they were there. So there you go.
Suck it, NC State.
In 2014 or 13. Cool. Also beat Marcus Stroman when he was at Duke.
That dude stinks. I hate Marcus.
You don't want him?
I've always hated Marcus Stroman since he tried to make Caleb Joseph drink.
Marcus Stroman, though, World Baseball Classic legend. You have to give him credit for that.
I mean, no more
You
than
have
Adam
to get-
Jones. No more
you
than
have-
Adam Jones.
True. I'm not taking anything with Matt. I'm just saying, played well for his country. You have a lot of respect. You already see you're a big country guy. You're a man of your country.
I will say Trey Mancini at Italy jersey is going to be fire. Fire.
Is he committed to play?
Yeah, he said he's playing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
I kind of have a soft spot for the World Baseball Classic. People
I
hate
love the World Baseball
It's
Classic.
very fun. It's
I
such a
love-
ridiculous event.
Love the World Baseball Classic. It's great. It's great.
That's the most excited, like where everyone waits for this crazy atmosphere for the playoffs for baseball, which I still think playoff baseball, that atmosphere. If you watch Philly, I retweet like a video clip from Harper's home run without like the announcers, and that place is a zoo. Like that place is unreal. Like the only other time you get that in baseball is the World Baseball Classic, and you see the different cultures and countries come out, and I think that to me is so awesome. Like I think they play. I was talking with some guys that I do some stuff on the 3-0 take with. Like I think we're going to try to go to the one in Arizona. Like that would be. It's a different breed. I know it doesn't really mean anything, but I think that's the only other time you can see competitive baseball where the guys are really actually trying to win something.
Yeah.
It's also like ends up being a lot of country. Like you have the Dominican Republic who has like a legitimate chance to win it. It's like countries that on the international stage like aren't winning a lot in a lot of sports, and just like those, like they can win. Like it's very. I think it's a good event. I kind of wish it happened more.
Dean Kramer and my brothers on Team Israel. They had a great run last year.
Are you getting
last
brought in
month?
as like a coach on that team? When is that happening?
Team Israel?
Yeah.
I am a bad Jew. I'm a bad half Jew.
Ugh.
I'd be eating bacon on like game day, and they would not appreciate
I
that.
would love for you to be somehow involved in that organization. That would be awesome.
I mean, if they want me to be the mensch on the bench, I could do that. I don't think I'll be invited. We haven't celebrated Hanukkah in 10 years.
No one needs to know that. Don't say it publicly.
Yeah.
Don't say it publicly.
All right.
Yeah, I can edit that out.
The whole team listens to the podcast, so it's already out. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Bleep it if you want. Bleep it. Let people figure out what it is.
Yeah, you're dedicated. Ryan, thanks so much for coming on with us. We will obviously have you on again at some point. Talk Ravens, talk baseball. Excited to see where the media career continues to grow. The Ryan Ripken brand. Great to be a part of it here on the X52 podcast.
Well, a pleasure to be on with you guys, and hope you guys have a great rest of your night and week, and we'll talk soon.
Back on the Exit 52 podcast presented by Jimmy Seafood. Appreciate Ryan Ripken for jumping on with us, talking Ravens, talking baseball to start the show. Always good to have his perspective. Honestly, a super interesting perspective from him on like the young Orioles, because he was in the organization as all these guys have entered. So we'll have him back on, talk Ravens, talk goes again at some point down the line. No, he's getting his media game on a little bit. So enjoyed having him on and providing his perspective. Starting five draft presented by Fed Thrill. Use the promo code X52 to get 20% off your Fed Thrill Sunnies. It was 70 degrees today.
It's so hot.
It's unbelievable what the weather is right now. And the sun is still out. So use your Fed Thrill sunglasses. Go buy some. So we talked about this starting five draft last week. I can't remember if we talked about this on air or off air, but I think
it was off air. It was just you and I just talking like guys.
That's what we were talking. Yeah. So the starting five draft this week
is
is guilty pleasure songs. And to be honest with the listeners, because we are as honest and transparent as they come, I think we wanted collectively for us to do a little more research on this draft, but lives and things get in the way. We do other things besides this show, limited our preparation a little bit. So this is a little more on the fly than I think we would have liked it to be. So we could miss some obvious ones. I think this is a draft we may run back because this could go on for a million rounds, similar to the candy. So with that said, RDT, you have the first pick. Guilty pleasure songs. RDT, you have the first pick. I have the second pick. Banks, you have the third pick. And we were really talking, when me and RDT talked about it was more like teeny bopper pop songs, but I think we're kind of going in a lot of different directions here. So we'll see if that is what develops. So RDT, you will be setting the tone here, I think, with the first pick.
This is so tough because again, like this just comes up in our daily conversation. Like we'll talk about a song from like 2012 that is just so good. I don't know. All these songs, the songs are just right up my alley. I have to go Call Me Maybe. I have to.
It's one of the great songs. Carly Rae Jepsen, by the way, just released an album the same day as the Taylor Swift album.
Yeah, tough look for her.
The rest of the industry has to cancel everything on that day.
Yeah.
They have to know better.
I mean, it's career suicide trying to just go up against that. But no, I mean, Call Me Maybe was arguably the biggest hit of like the 2010s. Maybe. I mean, it was a monster. When that song
big.
came out, I remember I went to happy hour with a friend and we played the song. It took us like 35 minutes to get to the bar and we just played the song on repeat nonstop. It was everywhere. It was the Harvard baseball team. It was Justin Bieber and Selena, doing videos on the MacBook to it. It's just a fantastic song to this day. Like it's a great, I mean, if you're at a bar in the summer and that song comes on, everyone is singing it. You're single
belting.
word.
Yeah, it's about fest.
And it's also like you hear those notes and you know what song is coming, and everyone is just like you said, a belt fest. You go crazy with it. And you have to. It's just such a good song. Carly Rae she's got some other bangers too. I like a lot. I like some of her other songs. But Call Me Maybe is like legitimately it's one of the most memorable songs I think ever. It was a monster when it came out. So that has to be my number one. It's just such a good song. Very, very.
I think it's a very good number one overall pick. I think it potentially is like a little too accepted as like a good song to almost be a guilty pleasure at times.
Yeah,
but it's absolutely a guilty. It is. I mean, it is. I'm not taking the pick away from you. It is a very good pick, and was going to get taken in this draft. Like I probably would have maybe taken it second. Like it's tremendous.
You have to.
It's a very good pick. So Calling Me Maybe goes off the board one. Can I ask you guys a question? Let's go back to the beginning. Back to where the earth, the sun, the stars are all aligned. I'm taking Come Clean by Hillary Duff. Let the rain fall down. Let it wash away my sanity. I want to feel the thunder. I want to feel this song is, I think, the definition of this category. The definition. Was a bit of a hit. It's from an artist that like did nothing else, but was unbelievably famous.
Whoa. What do you mean she did nothing else?
There's some other songs. There's actually one other song on my list, but I think there's only one other song.
She's done plenty of other stuff.
No, in music?
Hillary Duff?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, she's done.
It's not an accomplished discography from young Hillary.
Okay, well.
And everyone loves Hillary Duff. I'm a big Hillary Duff guy. I think everyone
she's
loves
made
Hillary
her.
Duff.
She's made a resurgence lately too, back on social.
Yeah, she has. But Come Clean is just the epitome of a teeny bopper song in the Disney era to me. Now there's like new Disney, old Disney. You have your Miley's, you have your Selena's, you have your kind of older ones, your Lohans, your Duffs. There's some different eras there. But I just think I just put Come Clean on my list, and I was like, I could probably get this last. I don't think either of you guys are going to take it, but I just want to take it. I just have to take it. So I'm taking Come Clean.
Was that the Laguna Beach theme song?
Yes, I believe so.
See, and that's what I know it from. Like I know it from the rolling credits.
And The Hills is Unwritten?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
Believe so.
Yeah.
Good song. Yeah, just giving one away. I won't say anything, but
I don't think that's a guilty pleasure. Oh, I didn't define that as a guilty pleasure, but if someone else wants to take it, it's fine.
I don't see how it's all that different from the nature of this draft, or what we're doing.
That's fine. You can still take it. It's not a giveaway.
I would have put it as one. I wouldn't have picked it, but I think it's definitely a guilty pleasure.
I have another Natasha Bedingfield song I think fits the bill better, but we don't need to get into the depths of Natasha Bedingfield because I will have that conversation. I've got that
all
on
right.
lock.
Well,
by the way,
go ahead. Thanks.
I'm gonna need an email of all your honorable mentions, just because I want to make this a Spotify playlist.
Okay, go ahead, Banks.
I'm taking Lucky by Britney Spears.
Good song.
Lucky is
She's so
awesome.
lucky. She's a star.
Song goes. I mean, when you talk about a song that you belt out, I mean, that gets people going. It's a great car ride song. I think that's a
Yeah.
major piece of criteria here for any song on this list. Yeah, Britney Spears. It's I mean, she has a catalog of songs that can definitely lean in this type of direction, but this is the most in the direction of the topic of the draft here.
I love that pick. It's a great song.
Yep.
Here's a story about a girl named Lucky.
They don't make music like that anymore, baby.
They really don't. They really, really don't. All right, thanks. You got a second one. I love
This
the
is
top
the-
3 picks.
This is the one that I was going to take anyways, because the other one isn't on my board, but the fact that you mentioned it and then you said what you said means I definitely have to take it now. It was in strong consideration for me to take it 4th overall. I'm taking These Words by Natasha Bedingfield.
Oh, can I tell you something? That's not the Natasha Bedingfield song I'm even talking
That's
about.
fine. This is the one I
These
want.
Words, also a great song, though. A great
It's an
song.
absolute banger.
I love you. I love you. I love you. I love
I
you.
love you. I love you. I love you. Natasha
Great
Bedingfield
song.
had a moment. Natasha Bedingfield had an absolute moment. I was a huge Natasha Bedingfield guy.
I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
I
Look at
can
me,
go
happy.
deeper into the Natasha Bedingfield discography it's a little embarrassing, I'll admit. And I don't get embarrassed by a lot. Like, I listen to so much Unwritten, the album.
Well, I know what song you have teed up here.
Should I just take it?
You can do what you want.
I'm taking Pocket Full of Sunshine by Natasha Bedingfield.
It's a good one.
I got a pocket full of
Put
sunshine.
some
I got a
respect
love
on
and a
Natasha's name.
Bedingfield's name. See, this is a take I've had for a while about respecting Natasha Bedingfield, and I'm glad that you guys are falling right in line with me. Natasha Bedingfield had hits, absolute hits.
Sticks and stones are never gonna break me. Da, 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 da. Yeah, that's great.
Absolute hits. Pocket Full of Sunshine peaked at 5 on the Hot 100. Pocket Full of Sunshine. I got a pocket full. Great moment in Easy A. One of the most Emma Stone is so likable. She's so likable in that scene where she's opening the card that's singing Pocket Full of Sunshine. Yeah, I had Pocket Full of Sunshine on the. I had all 3 of those Natasha Bedingfield songs, but I wasn't probably going to take These Words.
These Words. Choice.
Great song though. Oh, I love These Words. I'm going to be listening to These Words tomorrow in the car. RDT of 2.
I am going to take. Oh man. See, I'm like, do I follow the pattern? Do I go off my own way? I'm gonna go Pieces of Me, Ashley Simpson.
Yes,
That
yes.
song
good
is
pick.
so good. That
Yeah.
song is so good. And you know what? And
On
I
a
say it-
Monday, I'm waiting. Tuesday, I'm just gonna sing all these songs. Probably gonna annoy people listening, but whatever.
you know what? And I'm gonna say, you know why it's been on my brain lately is Big Booty.
Yeah,
That part, I mean, that's a great part in there. That song is, and I think that was the song where she was on SNL. And
Yep.
did the lip syncing, and then she did
the track got fucked up. Yep.
The little like hoedown thing. Yeah, I'm gonna take that one. My next one, Somebody That I Used to Know by Gautier. I don't know. Does that even count as a?
I think that's a bad pick.
It's a great song. But I
think
don't know
that
if it's a
song
guilty-
stinks.
Oh my god, no, that song is so good.
That song's not good.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
Nope. Yeah, I
Again-
couldn't be more with Brian here. Could not be more with
I
him.
think again,
Couldn't
it's
be
another,
more-
I
I
think
don't
it's
know
another
when
great
the last-
out song.
We're in lockstep about this.
I think it's a fantastic song.
It's just
Ashley
weird.
Simpson has
It's a
another-
downer song.
I don't
It
think it's a downer song
stinks.
at all.
Oh, it's bad.
Bad.
It's bad.
I was-
Oh, it's so good. I love that song.
It's bad. It's just not good.
Again, I don't even know if it counts as a guilty pleasure, but I'm taking it.
It just counts as a bad
You
song.
should feel
Not a bad
guilty
song.
about liking that
Not
song.
a bad song.
So
Yeah.
it's a great
You should.
pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, no, it's a great song. Great music video. Awesome.
Then it's a terrible pick.
Great song.
That song's bad.
No. You guys know.
Oh my God. I wasn't even thinking I wrote Banks after somebody I used to know. I'm sorry, Brian. That's just, you should have never even been closely associated with that.
Jesus Christ.
Let me get the draft back on track here a little bit. I am oh man, what do I want to take here? I'm taking Candy by Mandy Moore.
That's a good pick.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
it's
song
on
is
my
very
board.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great song. And let me tell you what, Mandy Moore is beautiful, beautiful.
That Mandy
I
Shout out
mean,
to her.
one fine piece.
She
jeez.
wrecked Vinny Chase.
Yeah, destroyed
yeah.
Vinny Chase.
Destroyed him.
Absolutely ripped Vinny Chase's heart out.
Simp City, Vinny Chase.
As
Population.
as James Cameron comes back into the floor with the Avatar movie coming out. Destroyed Vinny Chase. Spoiler alert for those that
if you haven't finished Entourage yet.
Entourage, yeah. Sorry about that.
Sorry. Didn't put the spoiler alert at the
Just
beginning. Good
owns
song.
Vinny Chase.
Was that her first song?
Might have been one of her first singles. I don't know the deep order of the Mandy Moore music career.
Guess what? I'm diving in.
So Real was her first album, and I know it's on that. It was her first single.
Candy, Walk Me Home, I Want to Be With You, So Real, In My Pocket, Crush. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I don't think any of those are gonna be named, but
I think she was only like 15 or something when that song came out. So
there's a lot of weird stuff again with these early songs. So
yeah. God, I forgot Vinny Chase. Tough.
Mental midget, Vinny Chase.
What an interesting assortment of girls Vinny Chase ends up with. He goes from Mandy Moore, he ends up with Sasha Grey like 3 years later. Vinny, good show. If people haven't watched Entourage, good show.
Fun show, very fun show. Good, easy rewatch.
It's a borderline guilty pleasure show.
Yeah, it's such a good like background rewatch thing. Like I will just, if I'm just like sitting doing something, I just need noise on that's not music, I would just stick Entourage on.
It's Entourage, The Office, Parks and Rec, Arrested. I could go and like boom, 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 over and over.
If you're me, it's The West Wing.
Fuck The West Wing.
Oh, come on.
It's rude.
A little respect for Jed Bartlett.
Not Allison Janney.
You anti Allison Janney?
No, I got that question wrong in the dozen.
Oh, is that what it was? I haven't watched your episode yet.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a West Wing question?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I will be mad at you when I watch that. I am way behind on the dozen. I just finished the Clemmerverse, like, freaking that. What are they called? Flux versus the Minahan. That was
bad. That
wasn't a fun one to watch. Not a lot of, no offense to those people, not a ton of likability factor on that episode. Except for the man Jeff D'Lo. Bank Shift 2.
Take it back to 1998.
Ooh.
I'm gonna take C'est La Vie by Bewitched.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good pick. Very good pick.
This song was a cultural phenomenon. I mean, talk about a one-hit wonder. I have no idea what those girls are up to now. But song lives on in infamy. I mean, if you can mix a little Irish dancing into the mix, like you've got some 90s girls pop band power there.
Yeah, that song pops up on my TikTok every now and then where it's like forgotten songs from the 90s, and I'll listen to it and I'm just like, oh, this song is just it's a head bopper where like you're tapping your foot and you're na, 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 and you just
then you dive right into a jig.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's a good song. That's a good pick.
Very good pick. Good. You have a second one.
Now I'm really in a I think in another tier. I'm gonna take the Game of Love.
Ooh.
Is that
Who is that? Vanessa Carlton?
That's an incredible song. I don't know if it's guilty pleasure. I think it's just an incredible song.
is the song too good to draft? Is
It
that where
might
we're
be.
at?
That's what somebody I used to know is.
Somebody I used to know is so much worse than the Game of Love. Like this is
Just
like
put
the
those
Game
two
of
songs in the same
Who is it?
sentence.
Santana and who? It's
it's Santana Michelle Branch.
Michelle Branch. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the Game of Love is
It's a little bit of this, a
song-
little bit of that, you know.
it's so good and it's so much better than somebody I used to know. Like those songs are in two different universes of
All right,
quality.
just talk about
like,
let's talk about the pick. We're not comparing picks here.
we're comparing picks. You left yourself open. Like somebody I used to know is the Yellow Laffy Taffy or whatever the heck, whatever the heck you took.
Here we go.
Yeah, it is. It's somebody I used to know is such a bad pick, and I don't know if we like skewered it enough live. It's just so much a bad pick.
I
in
have
this draft.
so much little left to say about that song because I already had to live through it being on the radio and being
There's-
played, and it was awful every time from beginning.
There's
to end.
never maybe been a bigger gap in quality of picks than Pieces of Me to somebody I used to know. Pieces of Me, which is just a perfect pick for this draft. And I was like, oh, RDT is just on it. I mean, two really good picks to open. He's going to have a strong team. And then you take Somebody I Used to Know by freaking Gautier. That song is horrible.
It's fantastic.
No disrespect to Gautier.
That's a
Actually,
great song.
meant disrespect to Gautier. The song stinks. Sorry, Gautier. Sorry.
You're not sorry.
I'm not sorry. Could be another pick. Could be another pick. I'm going here. I'll let you keep.
No, I only took. Wait,
No, you
you let
took
me keep it.
Say La Vie and Gable. Yeah, you can keep it. I mean, it's just I love that it's here. It's such a good song.
Okay, it's a great song.
I'm taking S Club Party by S Club 7.
Yeah,
There's another song. Oh, never mind.
S Club ain't no party like feels very good for that song bangs.
They were around the same time as Bewitched, and it was like the very similar, like overseas. There's like 15 people in each band
From the British Isles.
Yeah.
Are Bewitched British or are they
think
English?
they're
Or are
Irish,
they
right?
Irish? Yeah, I think they're
Irish.
Irish. I
They're
don't want to get in
definitely
the
Irish.
let's make sure we don't get in the
yeah.
They're not. They're
don't want to get
they're-
involved with that.
They're appropriating Irish culture, which is pretty fucked up. But I would
Remember
assume
do you guys remember the fad of like the Celtic women like sing the acapella like singing the songs? They were like had infomercials. Do you guys remember that being popular at all?
Not particularly.
All right.
Maybe
That doesn't have anything to do with this draft. Just came up thinking about Bewitched. S Club 7, S Club Party, great song. S Club 7 has other, as you said, has other good songs that could be taken in this draft. By the way, I just happen to take that one. RDT, you have 2 to finish your draft. This is a huge bounce back, hopefully for you.
Here we go. Watch this. I'm gonna do a little couple here. On the way down, Ryan Cabrera. That's
Great song.
so good.
Oh,
So
yeah.
good.
That's a big bounce back.
I mean,
That is a very good song.
it's just so good. I forgot there was a podcast I was listening to like last week, and they were like, Ryan Cabrera did not have to go that hard on the way down. And it's true. Like the music video is
That's
great.
that song is unbelievably good.
It is so good. Like that was a song that I was singing or that I was playing when I popped into the room, and I was just laughing, like shaking my head because I was like, it's just amazing. Like it's a fantastic song, right?
It's so good.
He had certified hits. The guy makes bangers. Him and Ashley were a power couple. I would have loved to see them.
I'll
kinda
give you
stay together.
$10 if you can tell me who Ryan Cabrera is now married to.
I know this. I know it, but I don't. I do not know.
It's a famous person
I got
in an
nothing.
industry that I like. That you guys don't care about, really.
He's married to a darts player.
Funny, but Banks also loves darts.
I don't know. Soccer.
He's married to WWE superstar Alexa Bliss.
Oh, I know that name.
Yep.
I did not know that that's who he was married to. So this is my last one.
Yep.
Higher by Creed. It's got it. It's got to be played. It's got to.
You went from teeny.
I wasn't sure if we were going into that genre or not.
Yeah,
I also did not think we were going in that genre.
Well, guess what?
That's fine.
There.
That's fine.
I think that's like one of the ultimate guilty pleasure songs. It's like it's so bad it's good, but it's not bad because they performed at the
It's actually great.
They performed.
Have you guys have heard Scott Stapp's Marlin Soar song?
Oh,
right?
I literally have that song saved in my drafts just for like to tweet out randomly, being like,
It is the best.
Like I blogged that song.
I heard that song.
I'm gonna tweet that song out tomorrow. That is my promise to you.
Oh my god, is that song good?
Yeah, I mean, Higher is just such a good song. But it came on at One Star when we were there a couple months ago, Banks. We had the big discussion on what song was better, but that song that's the perfect song. It was even better performed at the halftime of the Thanksgiving game in Dallas, and that all-time performance. It's just fantastic. Everything about it is great, and that song deserves to live on for generations to come.
I'm upset that things are going to be left on the cutting room floor here. There's so many artists I want that make sure are included. And no, I've been trying to stay away from like all of the people I feel like I'm on public record of like very much endorsing that could be picked here, like Miley or Demi Lovato. I'm not going to pick any of those people because I champion them a lot. So I'm going to go with my guy. I'm going to go with my guy, Jesse McCartney. I'm going to go Beautiful Soul.
That's a good pick.
Oh, man.
I'm going to go Beautiful Soul.
There's a big one that I just realized I missed. But
yeah, I'm going to go. I feel like Jesse's got to be on here. I think he's a guy that everyone knows these songs. They come on, everyone sings, belts them. He's got a couple other ones that could also be involved, but Beautiful Soul is the one that I think is the iconic Jesse McCartney, and the Jesse McCartney canon. I think that's the one that's getting put in the time capsule. So I'm taking Beautiful Soul. Finish this off, Banks. I love this draft. I could do this forever.
You ready for me to win in the draft?
Sure.
That's How I Beat Shaq by Aaron Carter.
Oh no, that's my song. Great song.
Yeah.
Did I do all the lines?
On.
Did I do all the lines to this on this show? Did I do all the lines?
Yes, I think you did. I forget why, but what was the call? What was the?
And it goes a little something like this.
Something like this.
I was never an Aaron Carter guy.
Oh,
come on, Aaron's Party. Come on,
I didn't like it.
Go get it.
Yeah, I Want Candy.
Candy was a good song, but again, it's like it's not even his song.
I love that Aaron Carter got in the draft. I had to take J-Mac, but I'm glad that you took AC. That's good stuff. He's a crazy person now.
I was gonna say he is a legitimate.
Unfortunately,
yeah, he is not a good person.
Yeah, he seems to be a bad guy. Obviously, has some mental health issues that I'm sure have stemmed from being famous that early stuff. But he also seems to be a bad human being, which probably maybe also stems from some of the mental stuff trauma he had to go through. Great draft. I mean, other than Gautier, I think everyone hit that out of the park.
There's a poll up now, so we'll see what it says.
Some honorable mentions. Party in the USA and Too Little Too Late are too good to be on this list, but they are kind of in the stratosphere, but they're too good. The other Hillary Duff song I had was So Yesterday.
True.
What the Hell by Avril Lavigne is an incredibly annoying song that I've listened to way more than. What the hell? Your Love Is My Drug by Kesha. I think there's other Kesha
He had
songs
a couple,
on
yeah.
here. You Are Who We Are. We Are Who We Are, whatever that song's called, could be on here.
TikTok.
T-shirt by Chantel. Got nothing but my T-shirt on. Was a one-hit wonder that could be on here.
What was right off the top of my head? What was the Jordan Sparks song? No Air.
Tattoo.
That song.
But No Air. I mean, No Air is too good to be on. No Air is an incredible song.
Tattoo.
Yeah.
I think it was.
I love No Air.
Yeah.
Tattoo and
She Is she the
One
one that's
step at
married
a
to
time.
KAT?
One step at a time.
Yeah,
No,
one step at a time.
that's Jordan Woods. That's
No.
those people are in two very different stratospheres of
Today
life.
I found out that those are two different people.
My two Katy Perry songs, Teenage Dream is too good of a song to be on here. That's a freaking certified jam. But Hot and Cold is a perfect one for this.
I thought Waking Up in Vegas. That's her best song.
Ooh, Wake Up
That is her.
or Last Friday Night is a very good.
That's a good song too. Great song.
Toxic by Britney Spears.
Mm-hmm.
Seven Things by Miley Cyrus. I'm sure that'll go great.
No,
for people in their
you've got the
speakers.
wrong Miley song. It's The Climb.
Yeah, Climb.
Well, I had The Climb. I had The Climb. I have The Climb. The Climb is. Oh, I love The Climb. I led like a group singing of The Climb at speech and debate camp when I was in high school. That's as far as I'm going.
What
into
a
the story.
sentence! What a sentence!
That's as far as I'm going into that story. But just know that it was epic. I was hitting the high notes. It was an epic moment. I loved speech and debate camp.
I need a quote card of that.
Yeah, put
With,
that
like
out.
your face next to it.
Put that out there. People know. The people know.
I know. It's just that's great.
And then all of the High School Musical soundtracks are essentially in there. And I have Breaking Free down, but you could put a million of those songs on here. They're all so good. I love the High School Musical soundtrack. There are also some camp rock songs, but I didn't want to do the Demi thing because I'm always talking about Demi on here. Looks like Demi has a new boyfriend, by the way. Whatever. So yeah. And what do you guys have? Right, talk myself in anymore.
Whatever.
It's fine. It's fine.
I got Man, I Feel Like a Woman, Shania.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's a good one. That would have
It's a
been a good
banger. I mean, Wannabe Spice Girls, like that. I thought that was going to be picked. It's pretty chalky.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bop.
Yeah, I had Umbop.
Mbop's a candidate for this for sure.
Yeah, 1,000 Miles.
Yep.
Since You've Been Gone.
Mm-hmm.
There's some other Kelly that could be on there. Breakaway, Behind These Hazel Eyes.
True.
Have you seen? There is a performance on TikTok. I'm sure it's on YouTube of Sam Smith and Kelly Clarkson singing that song, and Sam Smith kills it. Oh, Taylor,
dude, Sam Smith can. Oh, by the way, speaking of Sam Smith, he's got the song right now that it's a guilty pleasure. It's Unholy. That his song, Getting Hot on the Body Shop.
Oh, that's
something unholy.
That song slaps.
Yeah,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Thanks. Did you have more? I don't want to cut into yours. I got a long list. Again, some of these may not be like I had Closer, Chainsmokers. Like, does that count, or is that just like, oh, that's just a
just doesn't feel in the spirit of the draft.
One hit of the year.
Yeah. Just doesn't feel like it's in the spirit of the draft.
That's what what's it called was Call Me Maybe, but like, yeah, I had 1,000 Miles. I had Skater Boy by Avril.
Sure.
This was my closet one that I could have got this anytime. What Would You Do by City High? You guys may not even know that song.
I know that.
Song.
Yeah, it's a good
song. That's my go-to move. Like if I'm at a party or
flat
like
out
a
great
barbecue
song.
and my buddy, like, hey, throw something on. That's my go-to. And the looks that I get, it's a great song. Lip Gloss by Lil Mama.
Oh my God.
Banger of a song. This one was almost.
If you had taken Lip Gloss by Lil Mama with all the other songs on the board, I would have lost my mind.
I was not going to take it. Another good one. I Don't Care. Icona Pop.
Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's a good pick.
That's like an Ocean City song. I think of Ocean City when I hear that song. Let me see. I had Crush, David Archuleta. That song.
Yeah, I saw that on some lists. Yeah, Crush.
I wanted to take that bad. Summer Girls, LFO. I don't know if that's a banger.
Summer Girls, yeah.
Yeah. R.I.P. to two of those guys. They're both dead.
Wow.
Good Vibrations, Marky Mark.
Bro, that was my.
Did you take it?
Yikes, that's tough. I think that was gonna be his DRI.
Oh. No, it wasn't gonna be.
Oh, I was like, wait, did I miss it? It's a great song. Tipsy, Jaquan, Teenage Dirtbag. Like, There's a ton.
There's a ton. We've definitely, tweeted us if we missed. I had some like really deep cup stuff too that I listened to, like Jordan Pruitt and Ali and AJ. And there's no need for me to, go into that. Potential breakup song was gonna be the one from Ali and AJ that I was gonna throw out there, but I didn't know if we need to get too much in the weeds there.
74% of 116 voters say Somebody I Used to Know is a good song. Just saying.
They're just wrong.
You're calling our audience wrong?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, well, okay.
Absolutely am.
Remember who said that, guys?
Yeah. Come Back to Me by Vanessa Hudgens. Say Okay by Vanessa Hudgens.
I don't think I've ever
Somebody I
heard
Used to Know is a song that, like, if it came on, I would skip every single time. Like, there's not a scenario in which I'd listen to Somebody I Used to Know right now.
You have awful taste in music. If that's the case.
Go TA. Good draft.
I'm going to listen to that song so many times tonight.
We may run that draft back again, honestly. In a bind, we may do that draft again.
Yeah.
Because how about Go TA 6'4"?
Yeah, dude, fucking slam it.
Yeah. Makes bad music. Nick Hintermedley, Maryland Person of the Week. Thanks.
Eric DeCosta. Everybody wanted to shit on this guy for the roster construction for the season. And even more so with this skepticism that he was going to make a trade and do something. I get he didn't get the wide receiver. And I get that that's an area we all want to improve. But he went out and he got a guy. He got an absolute dude, a guy who plays like a Raven. It's going to show. It's going to pay off in spades. I love the trade. I love what we gave up for him. When we re-signed him, when we signed him to a long-term deal, it's going to look even better. So giving it up to Eric DeCosta. He's taken some grief this year. He might deserve a little bit of it, but when it was time to do something, he went out and did something.
Yeah. Roquan Smith could be, if he gets signed long term, we talked about it earlier, but that could be very, very fun. RDT.
We talked about him earlier, but this is a layup because I got nothing else. Ramon Urias, the Gold Glove third base, only playing 10 games there before this year, and then winning a Gold Glove at a position is pretty insane to me. And I've been on the record as Gold Gloves don't count. They don't give it, I don't give a shit about Gold Gloves anymore. But I think playing 10 games there and then just winning the award is pretty magnificent. It says a lot about, I think, who he is and his work ethic. And I think it's cool that, first Orioles Gold Glove since 2015. So Machado, Brooks, Ramon, not a bad threesome.
Good for Ramon. That's really, really cool. That's like a touchstone for the guy's career.
Yeah. Again, this guy was a nobody coming into last year. Like, he spent 10 years in the minors, made his way into a bad Orioles team and was a consistently good hitter and, again, good fielder. And also we have a no going into the ninth for the Astros right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Good for Ramon.
We'll try to finish the show here. Mine's easy. It's the 2022 Big Ten regular season champion Maryland men's soccer team. As I don the hat over my headphones, I look like a clown, but that doesn't matter because the boys got it done. Steph Capetti, 87th minute header to tie Indiana to lift the Terps. Beautiful ball by Josh Bolma. The boys got it done. Head to the Big Ten tournament Friday, quarterfinals against Northwestern. Very good group of people. I will use this Baltimore podcast platform to briefly wax poetic about how many good people are involved in this program. And it was very nice to see all of those people rewarded for their hard work from our players, coaching staff, support staff. Just a lot of good people that I enjoy working with day in and day out. And so very happy for all of those people. And it was a thrill to be a part of on Sunday. So hopefully there's more to come for the Terps. Ranked 7th in the country, number 1 seed in the Big Ten tournament. We roll on here. So shout out to all of those people.
Hell yeah, brother. Go Terps.
Go Terps. Honorable mention, Taylor Swift tour. Here we go. Here we go. That's just all that needs to be said about that. That's it for the X52 podcast. Appreciate Ryan Ripken jumping on, talking to us. Oh, Banks throws his hands up. There's something more?
We're missing a
Dead or
segment.
Alive. Yep, Dead or Alive. Yeah, sorry. We're late in the night
I know
here.
we're still easing into that.
Hit it.
Bob Dylan.
Oh, he's alive.
Alive.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wait, when have you ever seen him do anything though?
Well,
He's been
He's
in,
like not
in
a
and
public
out.
figure.
he's been kind of canceled
Is he?
like 2 years ago. He had some stuff that popped up from when he was, way back when. But I still listen to his music all the time. So like
Sure.
I just saw a book at Target, literally just like on the new release stand tonight.
I think he came out with music in the last couple of years.
I know that there was a bunch
Right?
of artists who did something called the Basement Tapes, which like they recorded a bunch of songs that he had written and like that they had in a basement. And he was just like, I'm not going to record these. Some good songs
I
on there.
thought there's a whole bunch of music like that, so I thought that lended credence to the idea that he's been dead for a long time.
Oh no, I
Who are the lost Bob Dylan tapes?
No, I don't know. I knew that he was still kicking. That voice doesn't just quit out on you.
Yeah. He'll also just keep singing even when he can't sing anymore.
He just kind of talks.
Yeah.
All right, what's your favorite Bob Dylan song?
Come Clean.
Hurricane's a good song.
I'm not much of. I'll be honest. I'm not much of a Bob Dylan guy. I'm sure that comes as a shock to no
Times
one.
They Are of Changing. That's a great song.
Is like a Rolling
Like
Stone,
a Rolling
Bob Dylan?
Stone. Yeah,
that's a
that
good
song was like that. I think that song was voted like the number 3 rock song of all time, or like number 3 song in general, or something. Great song. Fantastic.
There's some big time song that he wrote and somebody else lifted off of him. I can't remember what it is. You know what?
I don't know. I like Bob Dylan. Big fan.
Shout out to Bob. Yeah. Not a bad pick.
You know-
He's 81 for this.
Yeah, he's
but-
definitely. I knew he was up there. I could have said something. Never mind.
Yeah, come on.
I'm not.
As I pause or mute the mic to cough, this is, I think, the time to end the show. And RDT tries to get himself not in trouble. Follow us on all of our social media channels at X42 Podcast. You can follow all these fine gentlemen at EDITTI22. You can follow Banks at Barstool Banks. You can follow myself at Taylor Smythe 10. Thank you to our sponsors, Fed Thrill, Thread Level Midnight, Jimmy Seafood. You can follow Ryan Ripken. I believe at Ryan Ripken is the handle, correct, RDT? For him?
Let me pull it up. It is at Ryan Ripken. Yes.
So make sure to follow him. Appreciate Ryan coming on. We'll have him on again. And we will see you next time on the Exit 52 podcast presented by Jimmy's Seafood.